Hey everyone. So today what we're going to be making is a lunch bag journal. And before we start that, I wanted to show you my best friend got me a sewing machine from a secondhand store. So being smart like I am, because I hate to measure and I like to, work off the cuff, I decided to make this thing, which turned out to be the hot mess that I thought it would probably be. So it's supposed to be, it's made out of a lunch paper bag, but my thought was it would be something I could, keep in my car, because I always need paper and a place to put my receipts and, whatnot. Well, didn't think that through very good and realized that it would have probably worked out had I used paper, but because I got this sewing machine now, I decided I needed to sew. I need to put fabric on it. So, not thinking, because of the pockets and such, you can't really, it was a mess. So this was the second attempt. I don't know where the first attempt went. It was even worse. But I'm going to go ahead and, it's got 50 pounds of glue in it, because, it's a mess. But anyway, I think I probably have to glue some more. Yep, I have to glue here too, because this can't stay a pocket, because that's the closure, and everything would fall out. So that's smart. But anyway, I'm going to let it dry tonight. I'm going to set it under like a 50-gallon barrel or something and let it dry and maybe form itself. And I don't know why I even showed it, because I'll never ever make another one of these. This was a disaster. But anyway, that's what I worked on today. And I also worked on these book pages with fabric that are like pockets, and they actually turned out, if you don't pay attention to some of the corners and the extra thread and whatever, then they, well, except this one. And what happened wasn't the sewing, but I didn't realize this fabric was thin, and the elephant that was on the page showed through. So I ended up having to put doilies all over it, and it looks, well, awful. So, but I'm not done. Yeah, I know, right? We're going to put more on it. I don't know, hoping to fix that. Happy Mail partner, where you change, exchange ephemera and tags and, whatever. And so I told her I would send it out tomorrow. So my idea was that I would make this journal out of a paper bag and fill it full of all the tags and such that I've made for her. I rounded one corner, and before I glue this down, I took my cardstock and inked it and sewed around it. So I'm going to pull my threads through on the other side. Forgot to do that. And I think what kind of glue I'm going to use, because I really want it to stick. My problem is I'm worried about it seeping through the bag, but the lady that I watched that did it, she used all kinds of glues, so I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm going to use my art glitter glue, and actually I have a spreader that we're going to try out. This came from, says it's a spreader. We'll see. It's silicone, so it won't stick. I got those at a clearance thing, and so that's why there's so many. Not like I think I'm going to be spreading for days, but I think I'm just going to pour this on here a little bit. Whoa, or a lot, whatever. What a mess. Okay, so let's spread this out. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought. Or maybe my thing soaked it all up. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Nothing to see here. The weird thing is, really thought, I think I need a brush. What do you think? What is this thing even, really? I mean, is this even what I'm supposed to be doing with it? No, probably not. All right, well, let's get a spatula. How about that? Oh, look at that. Not terrible. All right, let's take our bone folder and try to smush that around best we can. If it'll still smush, it looked like it, to me, it was trying to get dry. The bad thing about using this bag is you don't actually sew around it, so I worry that it'll come loose a little bit more around the edges, and then we'll call it good. Maybe it's just the top and bottom I didn't get very good. Watching it on camera, you're probably like, hey, you didn't put a dab of nothing on those areas. Alright. I think I'll go put this underneath the, well, first, before we do that, let's pick out a paper that we will make a template out of. Let's do this one. It's pretty sturdy. So we don't want it any bigger than, say, right here. Probably right, yeah, probably right there. I usually don't cut a template because, like I said, I hate to measure and stuff, but not being able to sit here and hold it while I'm doing the papers, I think I'd rather just be on the safe side. Alright, let me go put this underneath something, and then I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I put that underneath a box. It's just a metal box that has heavy tools in it. I know it's not a toolbox. It's just I don't know what it is. It's not meant to have tools in it, but that's what's in it. So it's really heavy. I always put my stuff under there to let it dry. And normally I put, wish I knew what that was, because look, I mean, that glue just peels right off of there. That's really cool. If I knew how to use it, it'd be even better. Maybe I should, like, Google that. What is that thing? Anyway, I always put a paper towel in between my project and the box, just in case there's something on the back of, or on the bottom of it. And I didn't do that this time, so I figure probably look like a car ran over it. But I'm telling you, this Happy Mail project has really, really got the best of me. I am not doing so great with her stuff. Everything I've touched, I've messed it up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fold this. That way I can cut everything down to size. And if this gets too long and too boring, which it probably will, because without a doubt I'm going to mess this up and take way longer than it actually should, I will fast forward through all the nonsense. Let me find my cutting mat. See if I can't squeak this chair a few more times. Actually, I figure one of these days when I lean back to do something like that, it's going to flip over, because the other day when I was in here, I was leaning behind me to get something, and I heard this loud pop. Thought, that didn't sound very good. Well, later on I found this huge bolt. Sure, that's supposed to be in the chair. So if you hear a loud noise and see my feet, you'll know I got flipped out of this thing. But I'm just going to trim these down widthwise to this one. I just have, well, I might. Now I know this sharp because I about cut my finger off with the other day. See? I know it's not that bad, but some of the things in here won't, I mean, it's just a junk journal, so some of the things will not be things that she's going to want to write on. It'll just be for fun. And then tomorrow, after we make sure that signature is flattened out and glued real good, we'll sew this and start fixing all the pages. I was going to show you real quick a couple of the tags I did. This one I didn't put anything on the back. I was thinking I might put a stamp. I don't really know why I made these though, the ones with the fabric on the back, because it's not like she can write on them. I think they're just fun. I guess you could write on it. I think they're just fun though. This is one of the crochet ones that I did the tab shape. And a flower made out of magazine and splatter, and then put a little doomajig on it. It just has a cluster on the back. There's another fabric one that I did that I put a stamped flower on it. I'll probably cut a spot out. Actually, I'll do that right now. And put a... Actually, I think I'll put some seam binding in it. That material was so thick. It's almost like a really heavy canvas. I like it. I think it makes your tags stand up good. It's hard to punch through. And then this tag, I was actually, look at that, isn't that a mess? One of the first things I sewed, and I crocheted the tab for it. I know I shouldn't even put it in there. I should be embarrassed, but I'm going to put it in there. I figure if she doesn't want it, she can always toss it in the trash. Then it really will be junk, won't it? Need to glue that washi down a little bit more. I'm not a fan of washi tape, and that's why, because it seems like it never sticks. Or maybe I just don't buy good enough washi tape or something. I don't know, I got it at Hobby Lobby. You'd think it'd be pretty good. Wasn't really that cheap. Anyway, here's that one. And then I made a few of these little notepads. This one was a disaster because I kept messing it up, so I actually just put them loose in there where she can get them out. That one was a mess. This is just another tag. Oh, I splatter painted and made it, well, I tried to make it look like coffee stain on the back of that one. Stamped the front. This was one I think I showed you before that I made it a while back. It's just a side tuck tag. There's another one of my sewing jobs. It's got fabric on the back and I stamped it. It doesn't really have a point either. It's just pretty, or meant to be pretty. And then this is another fabric tag. Put a sticker on, and I don't know if you can see it. It's a dragonfly. Find your fire. And when I did this little quote, find your fire, it didn't even occur to me that I actually did make it match with dragonfly. Or firefly. Firefly, yeah. And then I stamped the back. And here's some more little booklets I made. This one I just used whatever that stuff's called, Put a couple eyelets in. This was something that somebody sent to me. They were called Project Life Cards. I never did that, but that's what I made out of that. Now, I think I showed these to you before. These were hand sewed before I got the sewing machine. They look better than the sewing machine. This was just another fabric tag. I stamped the back of it. I thought it turned out really pretty, but I don't know what you do with it other than just for looks. Something fun to put in a journal. Okay, so let's get some seam binding for that. I like this crinkle seam binding. I think it looks neat. There we go. That one's done. Some more tags. I'm a coffee lover, obviously. Little pocket. Stain the back. Tried to sew around it, put a little piece of lace. Another tag with some vellum pocket, a vellum pocket. And there's nothing on the back of this one. You can just journal on that one. I think I already showed you all of these. The little glue it to a page and it folds out. And then this pocket I made from a book page. And I kind of put a little ink on it. This one was a mess too. It was supposed to be a lot bigger and it turned out looking terrible. And this little pocket. Oh, I'm about to lose my word. It says wildflower. Wildflower. Has a notepad in it. Little butterfly pocket with journaling space. This is a paper bag pocket. Some tags in it. Actually, this one is for this big one after it dries. It goes in that. About to run out of room, you know. Then I made another little pocket with a butterfly and some grunged up tickets and a bookmark. And if you're noticing a lot of the same pattern, it's from Mo Bunny. And in February, let's see, Forgotten February Fringe, you were supposed to use something that you've had a long time and you haven't used, and mine was this paper pad, so that's why there's a lot of it. This is just an envelope, window envelope. I thought the flowers turned out good. I put little enamel dots in the middle. This is actually one whole piece. It's an applique, a little pull-out piece with writing right on the back. It's meant to, like a pocket, to glue it on a page. Here's another one of those little bags. It's got a pocket on the front. Put a bookmark in it. Actually, I sewed around that one too. But now this back is a digital. It's a like old vintage book page is what that's supposed to look like. And this one's meant to be a pocket to glue onto a page, and it's got a little pocket in the front. This is a book plate, or you know, like a writing board. And there's more of that digital. I have let this set for probably about an hour. It seems like it's really good and glued on. And I wanted to tell you, when you pick the enclosure, if you plan on gluing it underneath, just make sure it's really flat, not something bulky. But anyway, I can show you that more on another video. But to get the signature sewn in, I went through, because some of the pieces are shorter, like this one, you know, the vellum and the little deal-a-majig. So I wanted to make sure that they were going to be caught in at least 2 places when I bind this together. So I moved some down and some up closer to the top where they would for sure get caught when I sew it. Just double checking. Actually, this piece, move it just a smidge. A little bit more. And then I just make sure it's all really close down because this middle piece is taller than normal. So I'm going to take some of these big paper clips and hold it in place while I'm punching my holes. Like so. And again, making sure it's down really far as it will go. Okay, so I got this little kit off of Amazon for like, I don't know, $10, $12. And I made myself a template off of, I got it for free, I think, on a digital online. But as you can see, this isn't really long enough for this signature. So I'm just going to guess at it. But I will say that if this was something I was going to sell, I would definitely take a little more time getting my measurements right for sure. And I think I'm going to use the lighter, this is wax thread. It all came in this kit except the sponge, and that's mine so that I just don't poke my table. But it has a little awl and I think some scissors, three threads, and these needles came with it. I don't know what that is, but it came with it too. So anyway, we're just going to guesstimate at this since we're, this is just a happy mail. Not like I don't want it to matter. It's just not, doesn't have to be as precise. So I'm going to punch a hole right in the middle. And then one on each end. And I'm going to put this right back in the middle one until I get my thread so that it doesn't move. I should have had my thread out already. And I usually don't cut it until I'm done. That way I don't waste any of it. And I think I'm going to go ahead and get my little pliers because sometimes these are hard to pull through if you have a lot of thick papers, and I do. So I'm going to get that real quick too. I'm trying. All right, so let's thread up the needle. And I'm just going to do the, I don't know what it's called, but it's just like a figure 8 binding on this one. Quick and easy. Maybe. If I used a bigger needle, it would go through there easier, but I just didn't want, I don't like to use the big ones so that you don't have great big holes in your paper. All right, so back to this. We're going to start down through the middle. Take my template out. Don't want to sew that in. And then just go up through the bottom or the top, whichever one you want. It doesn't matter. Go back down through the top or the bottom, whichever one you did not go through already. Go all the way up to it. Pull it through. Now here comes the fussy part for me. When you go back through the middle, you kind of want to pull this one over if you can. And I usually can't see it to pull it over, so you just try to go back up through the middle. Same hole. I'll be darned, I did it. And try not to split your thread. Sorry. And then I just like to make sure I got everything on the outside good and tight. Not super tight because you don't want to tear your papers, but you don't want them to fall out either, so. Alright, so now when you get ready to tie it, you want to make sure, and I'm going to leave pretty long thread because I want her to be able to sew charms on if she wants. I probably won't put any on for her, but I've included some in the packet. Just make sure when you tie it, you have one thread on each side of this centerpiece so that it will stay tied. I guess also you have to make sure that all your pockets and everything are going the right way, which I did, but I've moved it around since I did that, so I guess I better make for sure again. So make sure they're going the same way as your book. Alright, and they are, so let's go ahead and tie this. And I'm just gonna do a normal knot on mine. Like so. And then I'm going to let those hang down and may or may not put some beads on, may let her do it. I don't know. But that's our signature in. Now let's get all the things for this. I found this sticker book, actually, and I saw some, yeah, it is a sticker book. I saw some little sayings in it, and I thought they might be neat to put somewhere, but I don't know if I'll do that or not, because again, like I said, I hate to put too much down, as that may not be what she wants. So let me get my paper clips for her to put these on, or for me to put them on, and then we'll start assembling. Okay, so I've got some paper clips that are already have a charm on them, and then, which there should be plenty in there, but then I just got some plain ones too, and some brads. Maybe we'll hook things on like that. But I think for the book plate, and don't forget we have pockets on both sides, I may just, I don't know, I may put that in a separate bag with what it is. That way she'll, I think this bigger one, I'm just going to hook it on a page. Maybe like this. Let's get us a good sized paper clip for this one. That way, if she doesn't like it there, she can, like I said, always move it. So we'll just clip it like that. And I'm probably not going to attach any pockets because I already have a few like these tucks. So I'll just put like this that folds out. I think I'll just hang it over a page. Not that page, or it'll be backwards. Hang it over a page like this. And see, it can be opened up for journaling space. I think I'll just hook that on with maybe a, since it's blue, let's give a little bit of a ring-a-ding charm. How about something like that? That'll work. Actually, I don't like that. Well, let's do something else. How about this one? It hangs pretty good. There. That'll work. And then maybe put something. We have so many things. This is a pocket, but I'm not gonna. See what else we got. Well, see, I can't glue it like that because it needs to be glued like this. Or it'll, okay, so paper clip it like that. Alright. Now we got some tucks here. Let's put a couple tags in there. The bigger ones. Those look nice. And then on the vellum, it's an open, it'll open up. We stamp those little flowers. And I don't know if you noticed when I did the back plate, I put some of them on there. Thought that turned out kind of good. Let's put some, what do we want to put in this flap? Maybe a tag with a side pocket. We have some of these curly Q ones. Could put one of those on there. Something like that. Maybe these brown tags. Put some of these. And the notepad, maybe. That'll work. If that fits somewhere. Yeah. Okay, we're going to leave this since it has the lace on it. Leave the handmade, or yeah, handcrafted paper. The lyrics. There's the doily. See what else we got. Got any more pockets already made? Over here. So let's do the rest of these brown. I have a little notebook I'm going to pop in there and a tag. Here's another brown one. Put it in there too. Close this. Actually, I think what's causing the issue are these notepads back here. So I won't put them in there. I'll just leave the one standing up. Now I'll tie it this way. And I'm not I'm not sure this is exactly how I'm gonna mail it to her, because I may need to take everything out where it's flatter. It won't get damaged. And then I think that looks pretty good. Then I gave her some beads. I don't know if they match. I just picked out a bunch of stuff. Put a couple more charms. Some binder things, like if you want to hang a tassel from the top. You punch a hole and put your little rivet in there. Hang things on those. Or you can put them around a whole bunch of lace and hang it. They're just little odds and ends. So we got the book that's filled up. Got some cards. Little envelope. Some bags. More envelopes. Another bag, and just some different kinds of paper there. And then a few more pockets. And notepads. And a book pad. So that ought to be a couple tickets we didn't get added in. So that ought to be pretty good, huh? That ought to be good enough for the box. And handcrafted paper. And the pen that I forgot to add. But I'll put it in the bag. Oh, there's another little cutie. Again, like I said, I may end up taking all this out anyway. Or most of it, so that it will lay a little flatter. But this way, she'll have an idea of what I was going for. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked this. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.